Hello, everyone. So, as I've explained in my intro video, this is the first comic book that I've purchased in the last 10 years, Dark Days of the Forge. I just went to the comic shop, just decided to get like a mix of books and see what is going on and see if I can figure out what's going on inside the comic books and just try to learn as I go. So, Dark Days of the Forge, written by Scott Snyder, James Tynion, art by Jim Lee, Andy Kubert, and John Romita Jr. So we're gonna get into it. This is a new event from DC, and just try to figure out what's going on, see if it's all explained inside, and see if I would think that you should go pick this up and see if it's something that you could get into even if you haven't read comics in a long time. So, and that's where I'm at. I think that's where a lot of people are at. They kind of quit comic books a long time ago and just haven't gotten back into them. So, I'm going to start flipping through. So, the artwork is just excellent. Everything is like clearly, all the lines are great. Like, everything looks like three-dimensional. It's a really joy to look at this comic book. So let's get into it, and I'm going to go a little bit through the story, but I'm not going to read all the dialogue balloons. So throughout the story, we're narrated by Hawkman here. Like, Hawkman is trying to discover the secret to a mystery. Like, it's all a mystery. This is a journal that he's written trying to figure out this mystery that has something to do with metals. So this is one of his past lives, spaceship crashing to Earth. He's getting his powers. And now we're in the Bermuda Triangle today at some kind of science base where they're investigating the Earth's core. Batman shows up to save this scientist. Aquaman shows up to help out. So I haven't read any of Aquaman in a long time, uh, but I noticed he's growing his hair out and he has this big beard all of a sudden. Uh, I don't know if he's going to start dyeing this black and then get really into tattoos before Justice League comes out this year, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, base explodes, Batman escapes, gets the data card, and then it's revealed that it's a Wayne Enterprises off the shore uh, drilling operation that where they're investigating things in the Earth's core. Batman's looking for something. He's trying to solve some mystery. Everything's about a mystery. Hawkman's trying to solve a mystery. Batman's trying to solve a mystery. Someone's investigating. I don't know who this is. Lady Blackhawk. Invisible spaceship. And Batman explains that something's locked underneath Atlantis. I don't know if that's explained in another comic book. I have no idea what that's referencing. So now we flash to Green Lantern, Hal Jordan of Earth. I really like how in this comic book they set up the characters. Like, if you've read comics for a long time, you know all these characters, but it gives you a brief, like, explanation on who is who. Like, Hal Jordan, I'm pulling you and I'm giving you this secret mission to go back to Earth. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And so now Hal Jordan's being sent to Earth to investigate some vague threat that's coming. Like, all this artwork just looks so good. Like, Jim Lee, man. Jim Lee. So Green Lantern busts into the Batcave, gets ambushed by Duke. I haven't read anything to do with Duke. So I have no idea about Duke at all. I just know his name. So, kicks Green Lantern in the face, gets picked up like a wee babe. Would he really get the drop on Green Lantern? I don't know. But Green Lantern, apparently no one's allowed in the Batcave. Maybe next time you should just tell him, hey, man, you're not allowed in here. You should go. But whatever. This looks really cool. So, Green Lantern's investigating something in the Batcave. There's a secret Batcave in the Batcave. Now here's where I kind of got a little lost. They're saying her name is Elaine Thomas. I'm assuming this is Duke Thomas's mother. And she's being kept in some kind of prison. I don't know what's going on with that. There's these guys, Immortal Man. I don't know who any of these people are. I'm assuming they got informed or got introduced in different comic books, but maybe we'll get more into that later. So now we're back to Hawkman explaining his powers, explaining that he reincarnates all the time, explaining that his powers are given to him by the ship because it was made of nth metal. And then he's explaining that sometimes when he's dead, like in between reincarnations, he gets this flash of something horrifying. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all the dialogue, but all the artwork looks great, and it's just really fun to read. Batman to the Lunar Batcave. Mr. Terrific shows up. I've never read about this character, but at least they explain, hey, it's Mr. Terrific. I jump between universes. All right, got it. No problem. So since he jumps between universes and he's involved, I'm assuming that all of this talk about like the nth metal and energies, like we're dealing with like an alternate universe, some universe which is connected to the nth metal. So now they're saying they have this guy in a box and it's time to let him out because they were investigating something, and it's Plastic Man. No idea what's going on with Plastic Man in this box, so maybe that gets explained later. Now we're back in the Batcave with Green Lantern and Duke, and they started getting taunted by this mysterious voice. This is a really, really dialogue-heavy book. There's a lot going on, and I think they're just trying to do a lot of setup to this event, and I think it sets things up pretty dang well. Now we're getting a call back to Court of Owls. I wasn't reading at the time of Court of Owls, but I've heard about it, and it kind of explains like the finer details here as we're talking about it. So it's not too hard to piece together, even if you haven't read it. It's assassins had this tooth with metal that had some of this special metal in their tooth, and it made them reincarnate all the time when they died. So it's kind of like reincarnation and the Immortal Man and guys who can live forever have something to do with this metal, which has something to do with this big mystery. So, and the voice knows something about knows about what's going on for some reason. So we're still talking about this big mystery that's going on. So Nether, like, I'm not sure. So Batman has a Black Ops team, I guess, but I recognize Katana. I recognize Morph. I think that's Roy Harper, but I have no idea about anything that's going on with that. But apparently they were supposed to investigate the mystery about the metals, and everybody's trying to figure out the mystery of this metal, about what's going on. So now I'm not sure about any of this. Like, I don't know if it's explained in another comic. Well, it's probably not. But saying he was dragged into this world for a reason, which I'm assuming is talking about Duke. So Duke's not from this universe or something? I don't know. So Green Lantern says, hey, we should probably call the League. Good idea, Green Lantern. No, Duke says, we gotta keep going. And Green Lantern listens to him for some reason. They arrive at this big door. And the voice is still taunting them. Back to Hawkman's journal. He's talking about his investigation of this nth metal. And everything is just so cool to look at. There's the ship, there's all these artifacts. So now we go to Fortress of Solitude with Batman. Calls out Clark. Superman's inside. And now it's revealed that Batman asked Superman to keep a room for him. Keep like a special room for him to keep something in. Like something probably really dangerous. So, and not to ever look at it. And just keep it for him in case he had to go in and look at it one time. So, Batman can't open the door anymore, so he calls Mr. Miracle in to open the door. Says he built this secret room and then he shot the key into the sun so no one could ever open it. And then kept it at Superman's house so nobody could ever even look at it. So Mr. Miracle works his magic. Boom, opens up the door. Apparently Mr. Miracle knows what the thing is inside, but Batman's not having anything of that, and he doesn't want him to keep looking at whatever it is. But Batman's like, hey, kick rocks, I'll see you later. Thanks. Except, oh wait, he does thank him. So I guess that's good. He at least says thank you and before he tells him to kick rocks. So I'm assuming it's revealed that this is the Forge. We don't get into it yet, but I'm assuming this is what the Forge is. I don't know what it does or what's going on, but it's picking up data from this energy from the dark dimension. So, or dark energy. So, I don't know. Like, I'm guessing we'll get into that later. Back to Green Lantern and Duke Thomas. They've opened up the door, and it's revealed it's the friggin' Joker. The Joker is a prisoner in the Batcave. It's like, what is going on? I have no idea. Why is the Joker a prisoner in the Batcave? And I guess we'll get into that later. But, so that's Dark Days of the Forge. Do I recommend this? Absolutely 100%. Like, even if you haven't read a comic book in 10 years, you will understand what is going on in this story. It's mostly setup, it's mostly talking about the characters involved with this story. It's all set up. It's all set up to this big event. You have callbacks to what is going on. You have callbacks to the characters. You have introductions to characters. Like here, even if you don't know who Hawkman is, it explains who Hawkman is. Like, oh, here, we got our powers from Nth Metal. It enabled us to reincarnate. You understand now who they are. Like, in the same comic that all this setup is going on, and the story is going on, you explain the characters, which is just good storytelling. Here, when Hal Jordan shows up, we're like, oh, it's Hal Jordan. He's a Green Lantern. You gotta go protect Earth, Hal. It's like, oh, all right. I understand what's going on here now. Even if I didn't read Green Lantern before, I would understand, oh, that's Green Lantern. Anyway, this is an excellent comic book. Like an excellent way to jump into anything. Even if you haven't read anything of Rebirth, any of these new things that are going on, like I highly recommend Dark Days of the Forge, and I'm going to keep buying everything to do with the Dark Days metal event, and I'm going to just keep going and see where it takes me, because this is a really interesting setup. Like, I'm totally on board with this. So tell me what you think. Like, hopefully like people can think about coming in and getting back into comics themselves, because maybe it isn't that hard. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.